This is going to be an emotional video to make. There's a lot of personal details. First things first, I've made myself comfortable. I'm taking my meds. I have my broccoli. I have my childhood stuffed animal next to me. I know the lighting is kind of wonky. I feel like I look kind of like an angel right now, but it's the best that I can do with my current setup. And also most of the video is going to be filmed with me sitting here like this, but the first few clips were filmed elsewhere. So, hi. I came out as bisexual in the summer of 2019, and then a year later I came out as a lesbian. I have a very supportive immediate family, and they were all very cool with it. However, I was not cool with it. I struggled so much to accept my own sexuality. A big part of that struggle was trying to figure out why I didn't see people like me represented in media. There were many days when I couldn't do anything because of this. I couldn't even get out of bed. It's hard to explain why this is the case, but it has something to do with the fact that I didn't see anyone in media who represented me and who I could look up to. I didn't see that it was normal and okay for me to exist. I actually spent a very long time texting with a queer family friend who also happens to be a therapist, and that helped a lot. But what helped the most is when I found James Somerton's channel. His videos gave me the language to describe how I was feeling, and it also gave me a reason that I could latch onto for why I didn't see anyone like me in media. His videos about queer film theory and Disney and their relationship to LGBTQ+ people helped me the most. I actually showed a few of his videos to my parents, trying to get them to understand what I was going through and tell them why I was feeling the way that I was. And they watched with not that much enthusiasm. Nobody really wants to sit down after a long day of work and watch a 2-hour-long video essay about queer film theory. Apparently. However, as I kept watching James, I started to get worse again. Because while his videos about LGBTQ+ people helped me a lot, his frequent comments about lesbians made things way, way, way worse. The examples that I remember the most are the same examples that Hbomberguy mentioned in his video. James said that lesbians were more likely to be shown in media than gay men were, which wasn't my experience at all. It made me think that what I was feeling wasn't valid, and all the emotions that I had about the lack of representation of people like me in media was just wrong. At the time, I took what James said and tried to fit it into my own worldview. Every time I was upset about the lack of representation of gay women in media, I would think about what James said and tell myself that I was over-exaggerating or basically invalidate my own feelings. I told myself that my feelings weren't valid because this man, who clearly knows more about this stuff than I do, said so. James said there are more lesbians represented in media than gay men, and so who am I to complain that I don't have representation? And I felt similarly when he said that gay women were persecuted less than gay men were. I told myself that I can't feel bad about my own sexuality because gay men have it so much worse than lesbians. I can't complain because gay men have it worse. And I didn't really have anyone to talk to about this. I wasn't in therapy yet, and I didn't have any close friends who I felt comfortable enough to talk to about this. Whenever I tried to tell my parents how I was feeling, I could never explain it in a way that they could understand. I could never explain it well enough. And it was so isolating. I felt so alone. I watched Hbomberguy's video a couple of weeks ago. He only spent about 3 minutes talking about how James was wrong about the things he said about gay women, but those 3 minutes meant so much to me. I can't even explain how much it meant to me, how much it still means to me. I cried the first time I watched it. Like, legitimate tears streaming down my face. And anyone who knows me knows that I have a really difficult time actually crying. Ever since I watched James's videos, I've been carrying around this idea that my feelings are invalid. And in just a couple of minutes, Hbomberguy lifted that from my shoulders. I've watched Hbomberguy's video about 7 times now, and each time I skip to the part where he starts talking about James, and I watch that over and over and over again. The thing is, all of these years, I didn't know that James's content still affected me in this way. I didn't realize I was still carrying that around. Those things that James said affected me on a subconscious level. It's been an emotional few weeks since I watched Hbomberguy's video, and I cried several times writing this script. I did get better. In 2021, I started going to therapy consistently, and I got on antidepressants, which helped so much. I rediscovered fanfiction, and more specifically the Marauders fandom, which is probably why the lack of representation didn't continue to affect me in such a big way. My mental health is relatively stable, and I had moved on from what James had said, but Hbomberguy's video validated all of my feelings in such a short time and lifted that weight from me. And that is so important, special. I don't know, but I think that I will always thank Hbomberguy. I don't know his actual name. Harris, maybe? But I think I'll always thank him for that. I still struggle with feeling bad and invalid about my sexuality, but not for the same reasons as before, and definitely not as much. I don't want to say that James's videos were the only reason I felt invalidated, because I'm sure there were several other things that contributed to this. I know that the journey I've been on since 2021 to better my mental health has revealed a lot of things to me, and the biggest thing I've learned is that mental health is multifaceted. You can't blame everything on one thing, but I can say that one of those facets was James's videos, and watching Hbomberguy's video healed something in me. So where do we go from here? I finished my scripted section of this video, and I want to talk about this more because I feel like I'm not done talking about it. I purposefully waited a little bit longer to post this video because I wanted things to die down a little bit more with James, and I didn't put his name in the title because I don't want to generate clicks off of his name. I just want to have this out there and share my feelings, and maybe say as a warning to other queer YouTubers who strive to do the same things, the same kind of things that James did, that be careful not to invalidate anyone, because it can last a really fucking long time. It can hurt someone continuously for 3 or 4 years, which in the grand scheme of things doesn't feel like a lot, but in that time, I've graduated high school, I had a gap year where I focused on my mental health the entire time. I started college. I moved to a different country. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a long time for me, I think, because of my age. I'm only 20 now. But also, so many things happen in that amount of time. And it's still a significant amount of time that I'm carrying around this weight. And I know that it's a lot for me to say, hey, Hbomberguy, you've done so much for me. Thank you so much for changing my life. When I don't even know him. But I could probably go into more depth about how James's videos made me feel, but I can do that another time, perhaps, if anyone is interested, or if I feel like talking about it more. And I can have more time to reflect on what this means for me. That sounds really depressing in a good way. I want to see how much it changes things for me. I don't think it will change things that much because, like I said, I wasn't as concerned with that anymore. I'd forgotten about it. But deep inside, when Hbomberguy said those things, it was a wonderful feeling. Oh, that's kind of cheesy. I feel like this whole video has been kind of cheesy. That's okay. And it's 1 a.m. now, so I'm gonna go to sleep. Take your meds, drink some water. I care about every single person who's watching this very much. Yeah, thank you for listening to my emotional little rant about my feelings. It means a lot to me.